So today we are going to study about the cardiac cycle for class 11th and NEET. So this is the diagram of our heart, and here we can see that how the circulation happens. From lungs, oxygenated blood goes into left atrium, then from left atrium it goes to left ventricle. You can see now my yellow marker, okay, now red, okay, to specify. Then it goes to upper body through what? This is your aorta. What is aorta? The main artery of the body, okay. The biggest and main artery of the body is your aorta. Then from here it goes to the body, okay. So here the cells uses the oxygen and the blood get deoxygenated. Now it from here it goes into the right atrium and right ventricular through tricuspid valve, okay. And here you can see it is the mitral valve between the left atrium and left ventricle. It is also called as bicuspid valve, tricuspid and bicuspid valve, okay. So do not be confused with this, okay children. So from left ventricle it is going to lungs, okay. And to lungs I will be drawing the lungs. And why it is going to lungs? To filter out the CO2, to get the oxygenated blood, okay. The blood is traveling like this in the heart. So the next thing we are going to study, and that is, so where are the heart sounds, okay. Where are the heart sounds? That are lub and dub, not the dhak dhak. Whenever you place your hand on your heart, you hear dhak dhak, but it's not dhak dhak, it's lub-dub, okay. So for this we have to study, or we have to understand the stages of cardiac cycle, or you can say the phases of cardiac cycle. So we have 3 phases of cardiac cycle, in which the first phase is atrial systole. Atrial systole. The second one is ventricular systole. The second one is ventricular systole. And the third one is joint diastole. The third one is joint diastole, okay. So what happened in joint diastole? All these 4 chambers, right atrium left and the right ventricle left, all these, what happened in to these, they all relax, okay. They all relax, all 4 chambers, okay. Atrial in ventricular both contract, in joint diastole all relax. In the upper corner of the right atrium I am drawing a red dot, is called sinoatrial node, okay. The sinoatrial node, what does it? Generate the impulses, the electrical impulses, okay. And what these electrical impulses do? Yes, tell me. Yes, it does the atrium contraction, okay. Due to this sinoatrial node, the atrium contraction happens, okay. So what actually happens, okay, this both atrium will contract and the blood goes from right and left atrium to both ventricles, okay, through the the valves, okay. So here we are going to study about the next, that what it does. Then the blood goes to both ventricles from both atriums, okay. This is what actually happened. And this contraction is called what? Yes, but via mitral and tricuspid valve. And I also told you that mitral valve is also called bicuspid valve, okay. And bicuspid valve is present between left atrium and ventricle, and tricuspid in right atrium and right ventricle. So what does the valve do? Valve give functions which will surely gonna come. Okay, they prevent the backflow from the chambers. Okay, for example, we can say like from left ventricle to left atrium. Okay, it should not go back. Okay, back to the atrium. Okay, like from left ventricle to left atrium, no, and right to right, no. Okay, there is a cross, you can see on both sides I have make. Okay, so now what happened? So the contraction of both atrium. Okay, so the both atrium is called what? Yes, atrial systole. Okay, and this atrial systole is of 0.1 seconds. Okay, in this 0.1 second our both atriums or atrias contracts. Okay, in which the blood goes from atrium to ventricle. Okay, so now the second thing is the second step or the second phase of this cardiac cycle. Now the impulses generated from sinoatrial node. Okay, now the impulses from sinoatrial node, it will goes to atrioventricular node. Okay, then you have already studied, then it will goes to Purkinje fibers. Okay, then the next it will goes to the bundle of hairs, and then they will go to the ventricular. So impulses from sinoatrial node reaches to the ventricle. So what it does, that impulses lead to the contraction of ventricles. Okay, that will lead to the contraction of ventricles. Now these ventricles will what? Left ventricle or right ventricle, both ventricle will contract. Yes. Okay, which will known as ventricular systole. So the contraction of both ventricles is called ventricular systole. Now the intraventricular pressure is increased, means the pressure in the ventricles as the blood is now filled, which will lead to the closure of both both tricuspid and bicuspid valve. As why? To prevent the backflow. Okay, so the blood will not go to the atriums. Okay, and the closure of bicuspid and tricuspid valve produces the first sound is called lub. Okay, I can write it here: mitral valve and tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve, lub. Okay, on closure. Okay, so when you heard the first sound of the heart? In ventricular systole. Okay, so now we are going to in the next page. Before that, you can see the left ventricle and the right ventricle's blood goes to where? Pulmonary artery from right ventricle and aorta to left ventricle. Okay, pulmonary artery from right and aorta from left, and aorta where it is going? To body. Okay, ventricular systole is for 0.3 second, in which both of our ventricles contract. Okay, fine with it. Now diastole, joint diastole is resting period of all four chambers. All four chambers means right atrium, right ventricle, okay, right, and all these are for 0.4 seconds. Okay, 0.4 seconds. So in this all four are resting, like they are in rest means low pressure, as there is no blood. The blood is already in the arteries. Okay, so now arteries have high pressure. Okay, aorta and pulmonary arteries have high pressure. So what they will do, what do the pulmonary valve and the aortic valve, okay, you can see in the green. Okay, what it will happen, the aortic valve and pulmonary valve will close. The both semilunar valve. So what are the semilunar valves? Aortic valve and pulmonary valve. Aortic valve and pulmonary valve, they both closes. Why they closed? I have already told you, to prevent the backflow. Okay, to prevent the backflow of the blood. Okay, from from arteries to back into the ventricles. Okay, aorta and pulmonary arteries to both ventricles, left and right. Okay, both ventricles. Okay, this closure of semilunar valves, okay, semilunar valves produces the second heart sound. What is the second heart sound? That is your dub. Okay, the closure of semilunar valves produces the second heart sound, that is your dub. Okay, now I can know pulmonary valve and aortic valve, dub is producing. Okay, lub is from bicuspid and tricuspid valves. Okay, you can see that 0.4 second all chambers relaxed, and dub is produced here and ventricular produced lub.